So let's talk about Space Jam: A New Legacy. I've been seeing a lot of talk about Space Jam. I've seen people critiquing it. I've seen people loving it. I've seen everything from all over. So let me give my thoughts on it. I enjoyed the movie. It was longer than I would have liked, but I'm also not a movie person. But it's like, hey, bro, how about you give us an hour and a half, an hour 45, not two? But I also understand the movie wasn't for me because it was like a mix of NBA jams, Fortnite, some robot stuff. It just wasn't for me. But at the same time, it was for me because it carried a level of nostalgia that takes me back to I got a basketball Jones. I got a basketball Jones on baby. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Or it is in the rule book. You know? So I look back at the quotables. And my favorite quotable is that. Like that was funny as hell. But that's LeBron. And here's the thing about the movies. I think that the movie took the persona of the athletes involved, right? I think that with Michael Jordan doing what he did with his original Space Jam, it was, hey, I know some of y'all nice, but even though I've walked away from the game, y'all ain't nicer than me. And then he proved that with his second three-peat. He had Chuck in the movie. He had Ewing in the movie. He had Larry Johnson in the movie, Grandmama. He had, Muggsy. Muggsy's not on that level. And Sean Bradley, they're not on that level, you know. But he had those current players, and it was like, oh, bruh, no matter how good we are, even if we team up, we can't beat Michael Jordan. That's who Michael Jordan is. That's who Michael Jordan was. So that movie made sense. Then LeBron, his Space Jam is a little bit different. And I think the new legacy part matters because LeBron's legacy is more than an athlete. Where a lot of MJ's legacy is just athlete based, LeBron James' legacy is not just athlete based. He's more than that. And he got into some of the nuances of fatherhood. And I'm not going to do like Skip Bayless and say LeBron was projecting himself onto the screen with how he's treating his kids. No, I'm not going to do that. But I think the family aspect of the movie, LeBron fighting against his son, then eventually fighting with his son to fight for his son, is very pertinent. Why? Because for one, LeBron is showing an active black father. An active black father. And I think that's important. We need to see more active black fathers. Our superstars need to show us what they're doing as black fathers because there are people who hang on the actions of professional athletes. They hang on the action of people who they are fans of. So if LeBron, you're showing yourself to be a great father, great husband, I love it. Taco Tuesday. Yes, all the corny dad jokes, we love it. So like, when I see that, I go, I'm here for this. I support this movie. I really do. But here's why. Because LeBron James was the overbearing parent, trying to get his younger son, his middle child, to be into basketball like he is and like the older son was. But LeBron, but the kid Dom was into video games. He liked basketball, but he liked to make video games and play video games. He'd rather play 2K than 2-on-2. That's fine. Now, can I be vulnerable with y'all real quick? Can I be vulnerable? Can I please be vulnerable? If I have your permission to be vulnerable, I'm gonna get vulnerable real quick. So movies like that touch me in a different way. Because I understand growing up in a situation where your parents, or even one of your parents, wants to map out a road for you. And you can start going down that road because you trust that your parents have your best interest at heart. And in their mind, they do have your best interest at heart, but some of that may be their own best interest. And when you're young, you don't know. And you don't even know that you don't know. You just go, this is what my mom wants me to do. This is what my dad wants me to do. So I'm going to do it because this is the path that they're leading me down. But then as you start going down that path, you start seeing these different detours along the path, and you go, everything in me is leading me this way, but my parent is telling me to go that way. And I feel like because they've been around longer than I have, they have more wisdom than I do, and they may even have more knowledge than I do, that I should go down the path that they're going because I'm going to defer to them. And then the further and further you go down that path, you just go, dang, bro, I just keep tripping up. I just keep running into stuff. I just keep getting lost. Is this really the path for me, or is this the path for them? And then you go, who's happy here? Parent, are you happy? Oh, I'm ecstatic. I'm so proud of you. You're doing all this stuff. And you go, Jesus Christ, when I look in the mirror every day, I'm sick. I'm hurt. I don't like who I see. I don't want to be this person, but I love my parent. I don't want to let them down. So what do you do? And I think that movie created an important conversation in households. Like, I'm not going to get into which movie is better because the original Space Jam gives me a certain level of nostalgia because I watched that movie as a child. Or I watched this movie as an adult with, like, I mean, I was a Michael Jordan fan, but I was like 6 and he was 34 or whatever he was, you know? Whereas LeBron, we're 7 years apart. So although we're not peers, and although I've looked up to him for a great portion of my life, I see things on a different level because I see him raising his kids, right? And then I go, so here's the lesson for the people. Is as a parent, help your kids drive down the road, but don't drive them down the road, right? You know how they say if you give a man fish, he can eat for a day, but if you teach him how to fish, he can eat forever. I think that is so important for parents. Teach your kids how to fish. Give them the skills that they can to be successful, and then push them to be successful in the fields that they want to be successful in. But don't push them to do what it is that you want them to do, because guess what? They're going to resent you. They're going to resent some of the decisions that they've made. They're going to find themselves in a place like, who did I make this decision for? But more importantly, who am I making my decisions for? Am I making my decisions for myself, or am I making my decisions for you? Because you've guided me through so many decisions because you wanted me to do what you wanted me to do versus what I wanted to do. And the question is, why? Is it because you have regrets? Hey, if you're a parent and you have regrets from your life, let that hurt go, sis. Let that hurt go, bruh. You didn't do it. You can't do it. It's too late. You can try to put those values, you can try to put that same drive into your children. And if they accept it, all right, push them downstream. But if they don't have the same goals, they don't have the same aspiration as you do, you accept that, and then you push them to be as great in those aspirations that they are as you want it to be in the aspirations that you set out for them. But that's hard. That's hard because guess what, parents? Sometimes you might have to check yourself. You may have to go get a little bit of therapy. You may have to go say, hey, this is what's wrong with me, and I'm projecting this on my child. And help me get to a place to where I'm comfortable with myself and my successes and my failures so that I'm not projecting this on other people. Yeah. We falling, big baby. You heard Cameron. We falling, big baby. But I think it's important because you should allow your kids to be free, allow them to be who they want to be and do what they want to do. And at the end of the day, you should love them no matter what, because their failures and their successes don't define who you are as a parent, doesn't define who you are as a person. It defines who they are as a child, as an individual, as a human being, because at the end of the day, we're responsible for our actions. So that's my takeaway from Space Jam 2: A New Legacy.